All right, thanks, guys. We are 4-1 in our last 5 daily best plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also 5-1 in our last 6 extra daily picks on that site. And we're 3-1 in our last 4 underdog plays as well. I don't know if you guys already know or not, but I run a website outside of this YouTube channel called patreon.com/Brock Page, and I do daily premium sports picks on that site. I don't handicap the entire board like I do here on YouTube. I narrow it down a lot of times to just 3 or 4 premium picks per day. So if you want to get hooked up to that site, I have links for that website in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/Brock Page. Now, guys, we got ourselves a pretty good slate of NBA action here today, so let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to start off with the good one. I'm talking about the Rockets taking on the Nuggets. 3:30 Eastern tip-off at the Pepsi Center in the Mile High City. Now, Houston's -1 on the road, total at 227. 51% of the consensus think that Houston's going to get the job done. Right now, Denver's -102 on the money line. Now, if you like the Nuggets in this matchup here, they are 7-3 straight up in their last 10, with victories coming against the Pelicans, the Clippers, and Dallas during that stretch. They rank in the top 5 in the NBA in points allowed. They're also in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, they're just 1 game back of the Northwest Division lead. They're also the 4th seed currently in the Western Conference. Nikola Jokic, 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists for the Nuggets. Will Barton, 15 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And Gary Harris is averaging 11 points per contest for Denver. The Nuggets rank in the top 3 in defending the 3 ball, top 10 in points allowed at home. They're giving up just 103 points per contest on their home court. Now, the Rockets on the other side, losers of 4 out of their last 6. They've also successfully covered the point spread in just 3 out of their last 9. They failed to cover against the likes of Portland, Memphis, and Atlanta during that stretch. Houston ranks in the bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. They're also struggling to cover the point spread on the road. Out of their 22 road games, they successfully covered the spread in just 10 of them. James Harden, he's listed as questionable for tonight's action. He's got a banged up thigh. I don't know if it's a deep thigh bruise or a muscle strain, but Harden is on the injury report, listed as day-to-day or questionable, depending on how you want to, use the terminology. But regardless, you got to keep an eye on him, especially as that is an early game. Once again, 3:30 Eastern tip-off. But regardless, Houston, they're in the bottom 5 in points allowed on the road, bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage on the road. They're giving up 117 points per contest away from home this year. Now, oddly enough, these markets do tend to over-adjust to these Houston games because they're 70% to the under in their last 10. I know that seems ironic, and it definitely is. But once again, the Rockets, 70% to the under in their last 10. They're also 14-8 to the under away from home. So there is a consistent pattern there with regard to the total. Now, 7 out of Denver's last 9 games all stayed under the number as well. They are 14-9 to the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me Denver +1 and the under 227 in that matchup. Next game, Raptors taking on the Spurs, 4 o'clock Eastern tip-off in San Antonio. The Raptors are the 3-point favorite, total at 223. We saw a 1-point move toward Toronto and movement downward on the total. The Raptors open as the 2-point favorite, up to -3. Total open 223.5, down to 223 even. 59% are leaning Toronto, 58% shaded toward the over. And right now the Spurs are +135 on the money line. Now, if you like San Antonio in this matchup here, just keep in mind they're one of the worst covering teams at home this year. Out of their 23 home games, they've successfully covered the point spread in just 7 of them. That's going to put them at just 7-16 against the spread on their home court. They rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 10 in defending the 3 ball. They're currently in 4th place in the Southwest Division, and they are 8 games back of Houston for the division lead. They have losses to the likes of Phoenix, Atlanta, and Memphis within their last 10 games. They also rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed at home. Now, Toronto on the other side, quietly red hot right now, and I know that there have been a lot of experts out there that have been wondering if they should buy or sell right now at this point in the season. But I don't know. I think they should, maybe ramp it up because they are currently 6-0 in their last six straight. Nice 6-game winning streak for them. They beat Philadelphia and OKC during that current win streak. They rank in the top 3 in shooting the 3-ball, top 10 in points allowed. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 8 rebounds for him. Kyle Lowry, 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. And Freddie Van Fleet, 18 points a game, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Toronto ranks in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage, top 3 in defending the 3-ball. They're currently in first place in the Atlantic Division, and they are tied with Miami for the second seed in the Eastern Conference right now. A couple more things to add about the Raptors. They're in the top 10 in offensive rebounding on the road, and they're in the top 3 in points allowed on the road. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Toronto's last 8 games got over the number. Meanwhile, the Spurs, 60% to the over in their last 10. They're also 14-9 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward Toronto -3 and the over 223 in that contest. Next game, Nets taking on the Knicks. 6 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Madison Square Garden. We saw ourselves a good old-fashioned flip of the line in this one. The Knicks right now are -1. They are the 1-point favorite at home with the total at 222. The Knicks actually did open up this game as the 1.5-point dog. So we did see some movement toward New York. We also saw movement upward on the total as well. The Knicks opened +1.5, now -1. Total opened 221.5 up to 222. 71% are leaning Brooklyn, 62% on the under. Right now, the Nets are -102 on the money line. Now, if you like the Nets in this matchup here, just keep in mind DeAndre Jordan is listed as questionable. But despite that, I know I'm throwing you for a loop. I normally have a cadence here. If I start off with bad news, normally it finishes with bad news. But that's not the case because Brooklyn ranks in the top 3 in offensive rebounding, top 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Kyrie Irving, I know there's a lot of controversy around him. People don't like playing with him, but the guy produces. He's averaging 27 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Spencer Dinwiddie, 21 points a game, 7 assists for him. And Karis LeVert, 15 points a game, 4 rebounds for the Nets. Brooklyn ranks in the top 3 in road offensive rebounding as well. And they're in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage on the road. Now, the Knicks on the other side, losers of 8 out of their last 10. They also have the second worst record in the Eastern Conference. They're just 12-34 overall for the year. They rank in the bottom 3 in scoring, last in free throw percentage, really struggling from the stripe. They're averaging just 104 points per contest, and they're shooting just 43% from the field. A couple more things to add about New York. They rank dead last in the association in defending the 3-ball, and they're in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, 5 out of New York's last 6 games all stayed under the total. They're also 15-8 to the under at MSG. I'm going to lean toward the slight road dog in this one. Give me the Nets +1 and the under 222 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Sunday's NBA action, but before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly do you the favor of reminding you to check me out once again on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium sports picks on that site, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. We're currently 4-1 in our last 5 daily best plays. The daily best play is a package that I offer on that site, which is just $1.99 through the end of the month. And we're also 5-1 in our last 6 daily extra plays. The extra daily play, that's another package that I offer, which is just $2.99 through the rest of the month. Once again, we're 5-1 in our last 6 picks in that membership. And last but certainly not least, we are currently 3-1 in our last 4 Underdog plays on that site as well. And of course, the Underdog package is a membership that I offer, and that's just $4.99 through the end of the month. Just a reminder, guys, when you subscribe to a package, you get all the lesser expensive packages included for free, for nothing. So it's certainly a great value. Now, you might be wondering, Well, why would I buy a package from Brock when he gives me all the picks for free here on YouTube? And you're exactly right. I give you all the picks for free here on YouTube in hopes that you at least consider clicking on the link below and checking out my site. Now, here's the problem with handicapping every single game on the board, side and total. If you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game, you're certainly not in a good position. As a matter of fact, it's a losing formula. It is not a winning formula for success. You're guaranteed to lose your money in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you're probably going to end up losing your money in the short run as well. It's just way too many games, way too many angles. The math becomes aggressively against you the more games that you have in action. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a whole lot easier for you. I typically break it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're games that I personally have action on, and they are high percentage picks, high percentage selections, games that I bet on my phone legally. I actually don't go to the sports book often. I like to do a lot of my betting on my phone. Of course, when you do book those bets at the sports book, it gives you a reason to go back, which I'm always looking for, a reason to go back. But I do most of my betting on my phone. But anyway, guys, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, throwing darts, handicapping every single game on the board. Now, the reason why I do handicap all the games is that I do want to give you an opinion on every angle. I do want to give you that, that favor. I don't want to break down a game for 5 minutes and then tell you, oh, this is a stay-away game, or oh, I'm going to take a pass. Why take a pass? It's just free information. Just give your opinion. So I won't do that to you, but I implore you, please do not bet every single game on the board. It's not going to work out good for you. Check me out on Patreon. I'll make life a lot easier for you. Once again, link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Suns taking on the Grizzlies.